Hi, and welcome to this hint video. So in today's video, we're going to discuss the question number 4 of LeetCode Contest 239, which was minimum interval to include each query. Let's begin by understanding what this question is all about. So we'll be given a 2D array of intervals and we'll be given a 1D array of queries. Now let's understand what queries we have to perform, right? So let's take an example for query 2. Now in this query, what we're going to do is we are going to find all the intervals from the 2D array of intervals. We are going to find all those intervals in which two integer will lie. So 2 will be in between 1, 4 and 2, 4. Mind you, it is given that they are inclusive, right? So we'll include 2 to be present in the interval 2, 4 also, right? So we have found that we have two valid intervals where 2 is present. Now, we have to, the answer for this query 2 will be the minimum sized or the smallest sized interval. Now, how will you calculate the size? The size is end minus start plus 1, right minus left plus 1. So 4 minus 1 plus 1 is 4, 4 minus 2 plus 1 is 3. So we all know that 3 is lesser than 4. So the answer for query 2 will be 3. Similarly, let's consider query 4, right? Let's consider query 4. Now 4 will lie in 4, 4 and 3, 6. Obviously, the size of 3, 6 will be greater than 4, 4. And 4, 4 size is actually 1. So for query 4, our answer is 1. So this is what the question is asking us to do. Now, it must strike you while I was explaining this that each time we are actually getting the smallest interval. Now we have to do this efficiently, right? We just can't iterate over the intervals again and again and then calculate its size, right? We need a data structure which will give us the minimum size interval in single call. And we know that we can use min heap for that, right? So in our min heap, we'll be storing, our min heap will be based on the sizes of these intervals. And how do we calculate the size? Right minus left plus 1. Okay. Now, one thing to notice is that, so like I was saying, one thing to notice is that sorting the intervals and the queries will give us a little advantage. Let's understand why this advantage will actually occur. So it just happenstance that in this example one, the intervals and queries are already sorted. As you can see, it's not always the case. Here the queries and intervals are not sorted. Sorting the intervals actually means that sorting them on the basis of their start values, right? So here, as you can see, start value is less. So it's not always true that it is sorted, but just it's happenstance that in this interval, we are actually getting sorted intervals as well as queries, right? So now they're sorted. What advantage does it give us? Let's call on query 2. Now this 2, now we'll notice the start of these intervals, right? Start of the first interval is 1, which is less than 2. And start of the second interval is 2, which is equal to 2. Start of the third interval is greater than 2. There is no chance that 2 will ever lie in this interval, right? And since this interval is a sorted array, sorted 2D array, no matter if 1000 elements were present after 3, 6, none of those intervals will contain the integer 2 since we know this is sorted, right? We can safely assume. So this means that we actually do not have to iterate over all the intervals if and only if intervals are sorted, right? So this reduces some time for us. This is a huge advantage that we are gaining, that if intervals are sorted, we don't actually have to iterate over all the intervals. Just using their start values, we can decide when to stop, and the stopping point will be this. This will be the stopping point. We do not need to check any interval after this comma, right? Actually, the comma won't exist, but you get my point. Okay, so now let's go to the whiteboard and place the whiteboard. Let's understand how we're going to achieve this. So I already written the example over here, queries and intervals. Let's maintain an answer array, which will be the size of the query array, and initially all the elements will be minus 1. So one thing, it does not matter, the order of the intervals don't matter, but order of the query definitely matters, because for query two, we have to store the answer in the 0th index of answer, right? But if you sort the query, you'll lose the original indexing. So before you actually sort the query, I'll just ask you to maintain an enumeration. What is enumeration? It will be a structure like this, that the query was 2 and its original index was 2. The query was 4 and its original index was 2. The query was 5, its original index was 3. Similarly, query was 3, its original index was 1. So this will be an enumeration that we'll have to maintain in order to store the original indices of our queries 1D array before we actually sort it for gaining some advantage. Okay, perfect. Now we'll also maintain, we'll also maintain a main heap, priority queue, whatever you want to call it, active, which will store the active intervals. So yeah, this is our main heap. Perfect. Perfect. Okay. So now what we're going to do? Let's call on query 2, right? We're calling on query 2. We are checking all the intervals. So we are checking, let's say this, I'm going to short it to IN, right? So IN's zeros, 0th element, we need to check, right? Is this less than or equal to the query? Or let's say in this case, we call to point. So is this less than or equal to the point that we are actually iterating right now? Yes, this is, right? So remove this from intervals, add it to your active min heap. How will you add it? So before adding, you'll also need to check if the second element, which is the ending element, is greater than point. If the IN 0, 1 is greater than point, if this condition is satisfied, only then you can say now that the point lies between this interval, otherwise it won't lie. So this will be happening in a loop, and this will be a if condition. I'll explain why this is happening in a loop. Actually, this is happening in a loop because we have to iterate over all the valid intervals. So valid intervals will be achieved from the starting point. We'll check if it is smaller, and if the point actually lies in that interval, what we're going to do is we're going to add this element in our heap. So what we're going to add, we're going to add size. Size for 1, 4 is 4 minus 1 plus 1, 4. And we're also going to add the last element, which is the end. Okay. Now, okay, this was true. So this has been added. But the while loop is not over yet. Why? Since we have removed this, now it is going to check. Sorry, I used the eraser. Now it is going to check 2, 4. For that, the equal to will satisfy this condition. And again, and 4 will be greater than the point, which is 2. So this means that we'll pop this, we'll remove 2, 4, and we'll add it to our active priority queue. We're going to add size. Now, mind you, we are pushing in the main heap, right? So it will automatically adjust itself to put the smaller element above. So in this case, nevertheless, smaller element was coming at the top. And in some time, if the smaller interval is not coming, we can be rest assured that smaller size will always be on the top. This time, 3, last is 4 will be right. Now this loop has exhausted because this 3 will no longer satisfy this condition, right? So this means that now if I'm going to call the 0th element from our active, which is the topmost element, I can be sure that its first element is actually our minimum. So basically what we did was we added all of the valid intervals inside our priority queue, and we removed the top of the priority queue, which holds the smallest size among all the active intervals, right? Now it's very simple. What we're going to do is answer, and let's say we had some original index for 2. So answer original index what it will be actives 0, 0, right? So this is the formula for doing this. Now, next time when query 3 will be called, we'll see if this 3 is smaller than the last element, or let's say the second element of a priority queue in all the intervals. Why we are checking this? Because this is the reason why we stored 4 with the size. 3 will be less than both these 4s, which means that 3 will also lie in 1 and 4. We already have its size, so we don't care, right? So just another loop will be added. Let me take some space over here. When the next query will be called, what we are going to do is we're going to see key actives 0, 1, which is the topmost element, and its second element, which is stored in the last of that interval, is actually less than the point. And point in this case is 3. Because if this is less than point, this means that that particular interval is invalid. How can I say it's invalid? It's not a good example over here, but let's assume that there was some interval present here, like 1, 2, right? This interval size was 1 and ending was 2, so it will be 2, 2, right? Let's say this interval was present. Now, if the point 3 is greater than 2, or if this 2 is less than that point 3, we can safely say that it is impossible that this interval includes 3. So we'll just remove it. We're just popping it, right? So this is what our secondary loop will do from the second query onwards. And it is that if the active 0, 1 is less than point, which in this case was 3, pop from your loop, because that particular heaped element will definitely not hold our answer, right? Now, let me just run this code for 3 itself. So these two won't be removed. Furthermore, 3, 6 will also be added. Last is 6, and this size is 6 minus 3 plus 1. 6 minus 3 plus 1 is again 4, right? So now another element, which is 4, 6 has been added in our min heap. Now this will min heapify, and the after min heapification, what we're going to get is 4, 6, 4, 4, and 3, 4, right? Again, the minimum element is at the top, and for 4, 4, this condition will exhaust itself, because this is obviously not true, because 3 will not lie between 4, 4, and because it is the point is actually greater than the point is smaller than the start element. Perfect. So we have the list of valid intervals with us over here, which now all we need to do is check which is the smallest. That job has already been handled by a priority queue. Again, what we're going to do is we will, in our answer, Achha, I thought I was maintaining answer, no worries. So original index for 3 was 1. So answer ke 1 mein kya aa jayega? In answer 1 we'll put the first active 0, 0, 0, which is again 3. So for 2 also it was 3, for 3 also it is 3, and let me just confirm it. Yeah, for both of them it is 3. So I hope the logic is clear. I hope the logic is clear. Why we are maintaining a priority queue? Till when do we have to pop using a loop? We have to pop till the point this second element that we have added in our priority queue is actually smaller than the point, because then that would mean that this particular will never hold our answer, because its end itself is smaller than our point, and if end is smaller than the point, this would definitely mean that our answer cannot be in this interval, right? So I hope this video is clear. It was a little complicated, I do agree. We had to maintain an enumeration which would hold the origin indices. We had to maintain a priority queue, and we were using 2 while loops, one to pop the invalid or expired intervals, and one to push the valid intervals. And among the valid intervals, we were finding out the smallest size interval, which was very easy for us since we were maintaining a min heap. It was definitely going to be the topmost element of that min, right? So if I was going to break it down into steps, this is a little complicated question. This is why I'm pushing over a little extra. If we had to maintain steps, so first step would be sorting our intervals and queries. First step would be maintaining an enumeration for our original indices of queries. Maintain enumeration, which will store our original indices. Second, once you have original indices, sort both queries and intervals. Third, push the valid intervals into your min heap. Okay. Fourth, once you have pushed all the valid intervals in min heap, the topmost or the top of the heap will actually store the smallest sized interval. So pop it, pop the topmost element. I'm just going to write pop here. Pop the topmost element. Now, since we are maintaining something like size, comma, right, which is the last or the end of the interval, this size will be our answer, and store the answer. Store answer in original index position, which we will get from this enumeration, right? Perfect. Now, when we call on the next query, what we're going to do is pop all invalid intervals. We have to remove all the invalid intervals. And so condition for pushing we had discussed. For pushing, we'll check if the interval is valid, and that will be known to us by the let's say if the interval was L comma R. So validity of the interval for pushing will be gained from L, which is the start of the interval, and popping the invalid intervals could be gained from the priority queue itself, which would be storing something like size comma right, and this right will tell us if this interval was ever even valid for the next query. If it's not, remove it. Then again push all the valid intervals. Again in your priority queue, in your min heap, you will have all the valid intervals only, and the topmost of that min heap will give you the smallest sized interval. So I hope this explanation was enough for you guys. If still it is felt that you need more explanation for this, I can make a written editorial explaining how to actually write this code. I have given you all the conditions. I have broken it down to steps. Still, if it is felt that we need a written editorial, please post it in the comments, and we will post a written editorial as soon as possible. Thank you.